Alright folks, this is the method that I use to level up my character fast in Elden Ring, using rune farming methods. There's a load of other methods out there, I'm sure you can check them all out on YouTube, but this is the method I used and I want to just cover it today. I think it's a pretty good method because it covers from early game all the way into late game in terms of progression. So without further ado, let's have a little look at how I did it. So the very first thing we need to do is get a bunch of these things here, which is the gold pickled foulfoots. They boost rune acquisition for a time. Basically, it boosts the amount of runes you get from killing enemies by 30% for 3 minutes. Now, if you go into the crafting menu here, you need 3 things to craft this. You need Rawa fruits, which is basically one of the easiest things to find in the game. You can find these things everywhere. Basically, just look anywhere where there's bushes. If you kill a bunch of basic enemies, you get them off them. You will have a ton of these if you've been picking them up or playing the game at all. The 4-toed foulfoots, these are found after you kill birds. Now the best way to do this is with a bow and arrow because you won't scare off the birds that are sitting next to them, but you can go and just slaughter them and see how you get on with it, but it's not as easy, it's much easier with a bow and arrow. These are found basically around any cliff edges in the whole game. I'm sure you've seen birds everywhere, so these are pretty easy to get as well. And then the last thing to get is the gold fireflies, which can be found next to any minor Erd tree on the map. This location here is by the Tombsword Site of Grace in the Weeping Peninsula. Right next to it is a body of water that has to be next to the Erd tree, and as you can see, this little pool here is full of orange glowy things. You can just run about here and spam the button on your horse and pick them all up without even having to worry about killing these stupid octopus things. So spam all this lot and you can pick up quite a few just in this one run, and then you can jump back to the Site of Grace, refill, and then start again, and you can pick up like 100 of these in about 10-15 minutes of farming. So getting these gold pickled foulfoots is fairly easy, to be honest. You just spend a bit of time, farm up all the resources. You do also need to get the recipe from patches, but if you look up loads of other videos, I'm sure you can figure out how to do that. But it's part of the accessible quest lines from the start. So as you can see here, I'll make 10 of these, and that's it done. So the next part of this rune farming method is you want to get over to this area over here, which is in Caelid. It's actually quite a high level area, but it's easily accessible from an early game. I farmed here right from the start, so you can definitely do it. So we want to go to the third Church of Marika, Site of Grace. Right behind the church there's actually a teleport which takes you all the way to the Bestial Sanctum. Then you just run down past all the enemies and get the Farum Great Bridge, Site of Grace. Now you want to get here, hit your horse, and next thing you want to do is hit the gold pickled foulfoot, so you've got the rune acquisition bonus. And you can also get a golden scarab talisman, which I haven't actually used in this part of the video yet, but I do later on because I hadn't actually got it at this point because this was quite early on in my account. So you go up to these little dudes here, spam the glintstone pebble if you've got it. Being a mage really helps here, and as you can see you get 1422 runes for every time you kill them. Now if you've got the golden scarab on as well, this boosts up again, so it's about 1700 runes every time. So early on in the game this is going to level you up so incredibly fast, and as you can see there's tons of these little guys about and they're super easy to kill. They do hit pretty hard, so if you're really early on, that's why it's better to be like a mage or a ranged on horseback, because then you can spam them without them hitting you. If you are melee, just be careful because they do hit pretty hard, especially if you're low level. And yep, just go around. You can, once you get the idea of the area, you can find them all. They're all over this part of the map. There is a massive sort of gargoyle dude at the top, so just be careful not to aggro him. There's also a giant dragon on the bridge at the bottom, so try not to aggro that either. So if you do have the golden scarab as well, yeah, it's a great method, but early on you're probably not going to have the golden scarab, so realistically you're going to be looking at your 1400 runes-ish every single time, times 15, so you can do the maths. It's quite a reasonable amount of runes to acquire at this level of the game, and then all you do when you run out of your flasks and you don't have any mana left or you don't have any arrows left, just run back to the Site of Grace and just reset it all. Now this method can be used for a long time during the game just to level up, but eventually once you start playing through the game and you do specifically the PvP quest to get you to this area here, the Palace Approach Ledge Road. It's in an area of the map called the Mogwin Palace, and there's a bunch of videos on YouTube showing you how to get to this point. There's a bunch of quests that you have to do, but if you're just playing through the game you will get here eventually. So you've probably seen this method online before, but I'm just going to go through it again because it is so insanely good. You want to stick on your golden scarab talisman, definitely. That increases rune acquisition, and then also hit your gold pickled foulfoot as well. Plus, you want to equip a longbow of sorts, or just any bow really. It doesn't need to have good stats or anything. You don't have to have damage on this thing. It just needs the range to hit one target. Make sure you've got a bunch of arrows as well. Then hit your gold pickle foulfoot, and what we're going to do is run up to this ledge over here, and we're going to cheese a very tough enemy into submission over and over again. So this giant bird here, hit it once with the arrow, it runs over here, and then it falls right down the chasm. Now if you look to the bottom right here, we get 17,219 runes if we have the gold pickle foulfoot and the scarab on. So, and then you rest at the site of grace, come back, it's respawned. If you're any good with the bow and arrow, you'll hit it first time, but if you're like me, probably second time. Runs away again and just launches down. Now you can actually rest at the site of grace here, and look, by the time you respawn, your runes have actually filled up. So that's how quick you can actually do this. It's insane. So you're looking at 17k runes every time. So once you've exhausted that first farming method, got yourself up to a reasonable level, progress through the game so you can get to this point here. This is by far the best rune farming method I've found so far. There we have it again, that's as easy as that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please smash the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps me out, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.